What is going on? Welcome back to the channel. So today I want to talk to you about Lucid. Go over some of the data points, what's really affecting it right now, and one positive thing that did recently happen. So I want to go over all the things that you need to know, but first make sure to hit that thumbs up, and with that, let's get right to it. So Lucid is in the green 0.8%, nothing overly crazy. It seems to be getting dragged down with the broader market because of a data point, so I'll go over that in a second, but 250 the low, 261 the high, and you are seeing somewhat good volume for the first about 2 hours of the trading day. 32.9 million shares being traded, 102.1 is the average. So what is causing all of this pullback in the broader market? Tesla, everyone is getting dragged down, and that is because of this. So normally there wasn't even that much importance being placed on it, but at 9:30 this morning, the Dallas Fed Manufacturing Index came in at negative 35.8. Forecast was negative 15. So that in among itself does signal more of a slowing in the broader market. And so at the end of the day, it's still not enough to really assume that the tariffs are going to cause significant damage, but that's kind of what the market is alluding to. So we'll just have to wait and see how this does all play out, but the market seems to be a little bit jittery because most stocks did run up a significant amount over the last week and a half. So I think just last minute jitters, profit taking, and so forth. Today, no news specific to Lucid. Pretty much over the last couple of trading days, I've brought up everything that's new, relevant, and stuff like that. So it's good to see Lucid ramping up on gravities and whatever else. As far as this goes, so no real changes. So these are all the Q&A questions from retail posing to management for the upcoming earnings. So no real change, but as I stated pretty much day one, that whatever is posed in the first 24 hours and kind of the top questions, those are always the ones that are asked. So I think it's pretty much fair to assume that this earnings, the Q&A, is kind of a write-off. So we'll just have to hope for the better ones next one. So these questions, I think at the end of the day, like the first one, I don't even know why we're really asking it all that much. The third question, I got to give it credit. Like that one's a good one about the Nikola facility and midsize. And that being said, a lot of articles are actually coming out about the midsize and how that will be a huge deal for Lucid. One actually just came out. Motley Fool just said that this is why Lucid is going to soar in 2026 because of, ultimately, kind of spoiler alert, midsize. So that's what's pretty much the market wants. The market does want a lower price vehicle. Lucid's going to be hitting that. So it is estimated to be that 50. Hopefully, again, they are able to get that down a little bit more through possibly negotiating kind of some supply chain and whatever else. So again, I think there's opportunity there to pretty much bring it down. I know Peter initially did state 40 to 45, if I remember correctly. So I think there is opportunity there. Maybe they're just factoring in the recent tariffs and whatever else. But let me know your thoughts on that. There is one thing that I do want to bring up that is relatively positive. So you kind of know that your stock is getting popular when they do add leveraged products. So we already do know ticker LCID, but there is now this one, LCDL. So this is the Granite Shares 2X long Lucid daily ETF. So there isn't a short one, just a long one. And for those of you that are interested in this, you can definitely swing trade it and whatever. Usually leverage products, it's really advised against to hold them long term, but you do whatever floats your boat. I'm not a financial advisor, so whatever, but this was just recently launched, so I see this as relatively positive only because, like I said, it does go to show that Lucid's getting some pretty good attention, and clearly they found it advantageous to actually have this. So let me know your viewpoint on that in the comments below, and if you would be interested in kind of trading it, or if you are going to hold it long, just kind of be cautious, right? Just research leverage products. A lot of people kind of neglect to do that and all that. But as far as shorts, they are increasing a small amount today, 545,000 shares, 29.32% of the free float is being shorted, works out to be 356 million shares. So I did bring up, I believe it was on my Saturday video, on how shorts really doubled down. And on a technical standpoint, like Lucid was on the verge of breaking out multiple different times to get above that 50-day moving average. But as you can kind of see right here, they got bounced, like it kept getting smacked down. So on April the 1st, April 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, even the 14th, the 15th, all were pretty much on the verge of breaking out above Lucid's 50-day moving average. And we already know that's a very big deal for Lucid. So at the end of the day, shorts did really double the hell down, because they went from about 271 million to 350. And so at the end of the day, they increased roughly around like 75-80 million shares more than what we previously thought. And a lot of that was done through the dark pool, and that was done between March 31st and April 15th, that same time period when Lucid was struggling with this. So shorts, in my opinion, did that because they feel Lucid is on the verge of kind of pushing higher. So even though today it's kind of whatever, it's just getting dragged down with the broader market, I think it is still making some pretty good improvements. And I think this upcoming earnings is going to be a very big deal, and hopefully be that dagger to really push it higher to maybe the $3 range and whatever else. So let me know your viewpoint on that in the comments below. Looking at options, 559,000 in calls, 869,000 in puts. 50% of all the options being done, though, are bearish in nature, and most of that actually just came out and started to occur because of that one data point. So this is really panicking a lot of clearly large entities. So do you feel panicked today? Are you taking profits? Are you buying the dip? What's your kind of thoughts on all that? But based on the bulls, there's a consensus for it to be roughly around that $3 range. And then May the 9th, you do have a consensus for it to be roughly around that $4 range so far. And so that's would be encumbering their earnings. The bears are anticipating for it to be sub roughly 250 for this week and next. So at the end of the day, there's a little bit more upside anticipated based on all that. These are all the transactions occurring so far today on the secondary market above $100,000. So definitely a lot of money getting in. And then these are, actually, my apologies, these are all the dark pool transactions. I said it backwards. These are all the transactions occurring on the secondary market. So my apologies. But nonetheless, though, you are seeing some selling right here, pockets of buying. So institutions are very clearly emotional today, and very maybe some of them taking profits, some of them panicking over this data point again. So we'll just have to wait and see how that all does play out. But as of right now, though, with it at $2.53, it is trading between this R1 and this pivot. So currently it is above the 50-day moving average, but this 255, that fib level, you also want to get make sure it does close above that today. So just watch for that to be a key pivot. And then aside from that, 269 will be the next kind of level to watch for. So that's going to be the next strong target. And then flip side, 233 is going to be the next strong support. That's if all Armageddon and hell breaks loose in the broader market, if we start to get back down in the fear kind of mode. So just take note of some of those. But like I said, on the actual chart itself, it is currently above the 50-day moving average. So generally good stuff. It just needs to hold that. And then aside from that, though, that 100-day moving average sitting at $2.62 is going to be pretty much that next strong kind of point to watch for. So let me know your thoughts on Lucid. Have you been buying? Have you been selling? Is your viewpoint on this leverage product, is that, do you think it's just happens to anyone? That being said, I feel like, I know it might be random, but I don't believe any stock that has had a leverage product such as this has gone bankrupt. So that might kind of pop that whole mentality of bears saying that Lucid is going to go belly up and bankrupt. Maybe, again, inverse type of thinking. So let me know your thoughts on all this. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up. One final thing, pop over to my Patreon and get buy signals on stocks, options, crypto, many of which have been absolutely on point. So definitely worthwhile to pop over there and take a look. With all that, appreciate all of you watching.